Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to be making this wall unit, and although that'll be a separate video, as part of that I need to use the router to cut some slots, some like dados, in the side walls of it for our shelves to slide into. So I've gone out and picked up an 18mm or a 3/4 bit router bit, so we can just have neat slots. But in order to do that, I can't do it freehand. I could just clamp a straight edge, but things tend to wander. So I'm going to try. I had this idea that I could use this melamine sort of wardrobe board that I've salvaged with some of this metal shelving railing, which I had left over, and that we could basically build a really nice slippy track that we can just sit over exactly where we want the slots to be, and either clamp it or kind of just hold it in place. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Run the router across, and that will just leave a perfect slot. So that's the plan. So this is the board I've got, which should be plenty wide enough. It's certainly wide enough for today's project. And then this is the sort of upright racking that you have for shelving in shops, and then the brackets sit into it. So I've got that spare, and I figured that that's not going to get in the way of the body of the router at all. And it's also got the holes ready for the screws, so we can just screw that in, and then we know that the router's not going to go anywhere. First up, let's cut some of this racking down. So there it is, another jig to hang on the wall. It worked pretty well. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. The main issue, I mean, the router itself stayed nice and central. There was no movement, and it slid well on this melamine. But I would say that clamping it down was a problem. It was fine if it was on the edge of the piece and I could clamp both down to the worktop or the workbench. But I would, when you're working on the middle of the material, it was a bit harder. I ended up having to kind of screw down into some sacrificial, timber of the same thickness. Where it has been handy is where I was cut in those dado slots on the side of the cabinet, and I wanted them to stop halfway along. If they'd just been the full width, I could have done it on the table saw, but this allowed me to kind of stop accurately and made sure that, you know, it was a nice straight line. So the full build of this shelving unit will be out shortly, and you'll see this kind of in action a little bit more there. But that's it for now. So remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.